There we go. All right, good afternoon, Ms. Shira. Ms. Shira, thank you for being on the podcast. Episode 6 already of One to Come Up, where we go over our guests' entire lives. We see who they are personally, professionally, and then we see why they are the way they are. So now normally I go back to your childhood. That's kind of where we start, and then we go through your entire career up until the present day. But I figure we're 3 days away from Christmas as of filming, 9 days away from the New Year. Do you have any plans coming up for that?
I'm gonna spend some time with some family this holiday, and New Year's I'll be, with friends. I don't really plan to do anything crazy, just kind of relax, take it easy, set some goals, and yeah, I'm excited to get into it. Thanks for having me.
Yes, well, thank you for being on here. Yeah, all right, that's kind of some good plans for the holidays now. Kind of similar to mine. Um, so what's it like looking back? Because now it's going to be 6 years from when you started Nightcap, and you were just 16 then, and you took on such a massive product. You didn't have much experience, but you figured it out, and now you're taking over. The bar scene, the college scene, um, the whole country now. So what's it like to look back on your journey now?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, we definitely didn't expect what has happened to happen. At first, it was Nightcap was just a one product idea. It was just a scrunchie that doubles the drink cover. I originally thought of the idea after a friend of mine was roofied at the bar, and I thought of it, in a dream a few weeks later when I was sleeping. And so at the time, it was just a concept, and looking back to see all the products that we've created from there and all the partnerships that we've developed with universities and military bases and nonprofits. It's been great, crazy, but I honestly don't think we've even scratched the surface yet. So I think there's a long way to go and a lot of change that needs to be done. But I'm still proud of us, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, that's pretty tremendous what you've done in these past 6 years, and that you still think there's so much left to be done. So what was it like as 16, 17 years old? You started the product. You had never done anything like that, but you kind of took off super quickly. Like you went on viral on TikTok, and you made like 40 grand from that. And then you were on Fox. So what's that like as 17-year-old to so quickly become like almost famous?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really view myself as famous, so I guess like really it's just my career and my job and what I love to do. It's become a passion of mine. So I definitely am grateful for the opportunities of Shark Tank and all the broadcasts, media, all that stuff. It's very fun. I enjoy doing it. Um, but I don't know. I think it's all for the goal that we're working towards. And if that means that, you go on Fox Business to help your company grow, then you have to put yourself out there. So it's all just been a learning experience, I would say.
Cool. Does it ever feel like work for you? Because you love the product and you're having fun with it. Does it ever feel like work or?
Um, it definitely is enjoyable. I would say that it can feel like work when you are, constantly on meetings and calls and trying to convince people that your product is a good idea and that it's saving people from drink spiking. I think a lot of people have this mindset that the problem doesn't exist. So that side of things has been exhausting of trying to prove that it's a real problem. So yeah, sometimes it does feel like work, but for the most part, I'm very grateful for the career that we have and the goal that we're working towards. So, um, we can create our own schedules and kind of take the company where we want to instead of listening to someone else's vision for the company. We get to create it, which is worth like everything to us.
Wow, that's incredible though that you mentioned that people still don't think this is a like a big problem in America, and that you still have to convince them. you would think that there's so much awareness of it now that it should be like pretty on the forefront of everyone's mind, but I guess not.
Yeah, I think social media has definitely helped amplify the problem, and people are able to now come out with their stories of drink spiking instead of hiding it or thinking it's shameful or embarrassing, because we've kind of created this persona online where we accept, who like accept people who have gone through this trauma or people who are afraid of it. I think it's normal and it happens so easily, and it's such a common thing that we didn't realize before. And so we're just bringing awareness, and I think it's reaching the people that matter in this space and showing us, like, you know, if we're going to be partying and celebrating, I mean, I guess, like, if we're going to be, you know, out and trying to enjoy life, we should be also taking precaution at the same time.
Yeah, to allow you, I mean, even to allow yourself that peace of mind to fully enjoy it, that you're being safe as well. So now I'm sure you get asked this by everyone that meets, but that everyone you meet. But I'm also curious about this myself. What was Shark Tank like? All the things that viewers can't see, stuff we're not supposed to know about. What was your Shark Tank experience there?
Yeah, it was great. It changed our company. Honestly, without it, it would have taken so much longer to get the exposure and credibility that we needed. And I was 17 when I went on the show, so it was really incredible. It was definitely like throwing yourself into a very uncomfortable situation because of how intimidating something like that can be. But as a kid, you're a little bit more delusional, so it definitely, it definitely, you know, didn't, um, it didn't phase me as much as it would today. So that, that part of it was easier than I thought it would be, but I just, lived in the moment, had fun with it. I also wanted to take it in. You're only on Shark Tank once in your lifetime for most people that go on the show. So yeah, it was an opportunity that um, changed the trajectory of our business, and super grateful for. But I guess one thing that is cool to know is we were the COVID season, so we had to quarantine for 10 days before going on the show. And we, couldn't leave. So we were like printing out photos of the sharks and practicing our pitch towards them, which was really uh, fun.
That's cool. So then it's kind of fun because you interesting because then you went to college immediately after that. But by this point you had already like so much real world experience, and already so much knowledge about being an entrepreneur. So so what was that like for you as well for college? Because there's always a debate, college versus real world experience. So what's your, I guess, like kind of take on that?
College versus real world experience. I think, I don't know. I think you can, depends on what you're looking for and what experience you're trying to get. I think you can be involved in college in different ways and be in different clubs, or like be a part of different organizations within your university and get real world experience that way. But for me, it just wasn't the case. I just knew that I had this business kind of sitting on the side, and I really wanted to take action, and uh, I really wanted to, do more with it. I felt like people were getting their drinks spiked, and I was just kind of sitting in class, not taking it seriously. So it was my decision to leave school. And that was one of the best decisions I made, because I would have graduated this year, and I don't know if I would have been able to focus and accomplish as much as we have if I were still, sitting in classes all day long.
Wow, that's amazing that you would have been graduating this year, but that you've done so much instead of college instead of doing that, you focus on your own career. So then last year also was a very big year for you. I guess 2023 it was, or seeing it's going to be 2024 was last year, but so then last year you got into Forever 21, also by like cold pitching it to them, to Winnie Park, and you got into Bumble. So how's that? How's so many doors opening up to you? How's that changed your company a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely changed our confidence as founders. The story originally behind Forever 21 was that the CEO was at a conference that I attended, and I ended up walking up to her and telling her, she did an amazing job on this panel. I would love to give you a nightcap. And immediately she said, let's get this in the stores. And that, got us into all 400 stores. So I think it didn't only change the business, but it changed like our confidence and how we approach situations, how we look at, one conversation can literally change the trajectory of something of where you want to grow. And then as for Bumble too, like Bumble's partnership was super awesome. And we got to get our products in the hands of all their ambassadors on college campuses. They introduced me to Alex Cooper just because they wanted to. And yeah, it's really, impactful, the partners that you have and what you can do for each other. And I am really excited to see what else we can do with them.
So that's cool that you kind of got to meet Alex Cooper there, and she has her own podcast, which is a little bit of a step up from mine. But then you were on the Unwell tour there. So I guess what is she like? Because obviously now for me she's and all this podcasting stuff is like still new and it's kind of cool to me, and she has a big podcast herself. So what's she like? I guess.
Yeah, Alex is definitely, someone that I would like look up to, and Um, I think she's done an amazing job with bringing on people talking about sexual assault, awareness and just like normalizing things that women and men go through. And I appreciate her for that. I think she brings great perspective to a lot of these situations that need to be normalized and talked about. So that's kind of why I wanted to get introduced to her, but she's great. I think she's done really cool things in the space.
So it's also kind of cool because you're the first person on this podcast that's kind of like met some celebrities, and celebrities are still kind of cool to me. So
Mhm.
and you also got to meet like Paris Hilton, and Kendall Jenner sponsored your birthday. So I guess what are they also like in person?
Yeah, Paris Hilton was one of my favorites. She was super nice, took the time, like took very a lot of time with me. And she had a drink spiking story herself that I knew about, so I really wanted to get a nightcap in her hands. But I don't know, as for celebrities, like they're awesome. They it depends on who you really talk to. Like I think I've had good interactions and I've had bad ones. And when you like when you have a product that you want to get out there and you think it's important, sometimes it's good to just like step out of your comfort zone and initiate conversations with people that have real impact. So that's kind of why I do those things and have those conversations with people, because I think maybe, you never know who's holding the product or using it at the club, or, someone who's had an experience. So I really think it's about like the purpose behind the conversation. And yeah, I mean, there's not all rainbows.
That's interesting for people, I guess, to know that because they always put them on a little bit of a pedestal, and they compare themselves. But it's important to know that they're not so different than regular people as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm kind of learning that as well with the podcast here. Um, so it's interesting as well because what was I gonna say? Um, So you yourself have kind of become somebody that people look up to as well. Maybe other aspiring entrepreneurs or people who want to do good for maybe the world and for the college. And so how do you kind of see yourself as like maybe a role model for other people?
Yeah, I think I don't know, I just try to I work on the company and I see like how we can help people that have been impacted by the problem. And I think like I position myself uh in a way that could influence people, um, which is great. I mean, I would be I'm honored to be in that position, but I think it's important to just have good morals and values when you're in those positions, but not everyone does. So, I think, yeah, I don't know. I guess,
It's a little bit of a tricky question, you know?
yeah, I mean, thank you.
Yeah, it's always difficult to see how other people view you and the importance of that. So it's also something that we've been getting into a little bit with the podcast and some of the other guests is that the constantly changing landscape of like business and entrepreneur and starting your own company. And you're the youngest person we've had on here so far. And so that's kind of been the debate. Do you think that younger people are going to have more power now in like the business world, or do you think it's still going to be those bigger companies? Or like people with more experience, or do you think that you're, I guess, being so young and new to everything, do you think that's also very valuable?
Yeah, you can look at it both ways. It's definitely, we're more tech savvy when we're younger. We kind of understand what people want to see as like Gen Z or Gen Alpha, millennials. I think like we have this like knowing of what can go viral, and a lot of the older demographic doesn't have that, like like they don't have that knowledge. They didn't grow up with it. We literally like grew up with phones in our hands. Like we know how to grab people's attention. So if you're trying to, yeah, like start a company, you can, I think, yeah, young people do have an advantage of getting in front of millions and millions of eyes because of the access that we have to people and uh resources of learning like podcasts and things like this. So yeah, we definitely have an advantage. But you can also be young and tell yourself that you're too young to succeed. So you have to have the mindset and definitely the skills, both of them to go together.
Yeah, but that's also an interesting point that you brought up, being able to market it and use social media to your advantage because you also have like the biggest following out of all the people that have interviewed. So that's cool as well. Um, so what's then some advice you have for young entrepreneurs? You know, because maybe they don't know anything, or maybe they're in a similar position to you, or do you have any advice for young entrepreneurs?
I would say young entrepreneurs to learn as much as you can, let yourself, like let yourself enjoy the journey, and like don't pinch yourself just because you're not somewhere yet. You have to kind of take put one foot in front of the other. It's not, we're not given like a pamphlet, and we're not showed how to, we don't know all the rules, and it can be tricky, but we, um, we have to just let ourselves learn.
Cool. So all right. So I guess we're kind of nearing maybe the 20-minute mark. How long I'd like to keep the episodes. Um, so where do we've been over your entire career now, and all that's left is, I guess, the future. So, how do you see yourself maybe in a year from now, 10 years from now? Still with Nightcap, or
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. Just kind of creating more and more change down the road. But I don't really look that far ahead, to be quite honest. I think Nightcap has a long ways to go, and if it takes that long, then it does, and we'll be pushing.
cool? You think you're going to be maybe starting any other companies, or?
Um, yeah, probably. Definitely very entrepreneurial and love starting businesses, so I could see that.
All right. Well, thank you. This was certainly a very interesting episode here. I think a lot of the viewers might enjoy it. Certainly have a unique perspective on some things. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, happy holidays. Good luck in the new year.
Thank you. Let me know if you need anything else and if I can Yeah, I guess you can find Nightcap at nightcapit.com, Amazon. Our socials are Nightcap It, and my podcast is In Your Dreams.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.